If you are a Vietnamese or Asian international student and you have that one science class where the professor talks so fast it feels like another language, this video is for you. I used to watch the same lecture video 2 to 3 times and still feel like I didn't really understand it. 3 weeks ago, I decided to try a weird experiment. I turned all my lectures into text and had an AI be my personal tutor. To my surprise, for the first time, I actually felt like I was understanding well enough to explain it again in my own words. In this video, I will show exactly how I did it, so you can copy it and use it for your own classes too. I'm an international student in Canada, and science classes have always been my worst nightmare. I'd sit through a full lecture, take pages of notes, and still not be able to explain anything after class. I rewatched the lecture recording at normal speed, Google search every terms I could hear, and still feel lost. And every time I think about exams or an exam is coming up, I just imagine about failing again and wasting more of my mom's money and get closer to losing my study permit too. Until 3 weeks ago, I decided to treat this as an experiment and build a new learning operating system using AI. It's not perfect yet, it's not ready for every class yet, but I will show you what's working right now for my biopsychology, drugs and behavior class, so you can copy today. Okay, so here is what I used to do. First, I would watch the lecture once, trying to write everything down, and then I rewatch it, pause constantly to translate every word and copy every slice, and then finally I cram every slice and every words down before the quiz. The problem with this is my notes were just copy text, not understanding. I was passive in study and I just tried to catch up. And I never connected ideas to my own words or real examples. So here's my AI Lecture OS workflow in 4 steps. Step number 1, get everything into text. What I mean by that is download all of your syllabus, all of your lecture slides, transcript, and transcript is the most important thing for you to get down because transcript is where you capture all the details of the lecture that your professor actually cares about, not some random YouTube lecture online. It's your professor in your real-time class. Now that you've got all of those things down in text, step number 2 is to set it up in your bot. And if you have been using AI to study, but you haven't been using the spaces or project feature, you are missing out. Here, you can use Claude, ChatGPT, or Perplexity. I would actually recommend using Claude over Perplexity after I have used it. And here is what you want to do. You go into the project feature right there for Claude on the left side. For ChatGPT, it's also on the left side. It says new project. And for Perplexity, it's spaces. And you just click create new spaces. And the reason why you use this feature instead of just the normal chat is you can preload it with your class context. So remember in step 1, you download your syllabus, lecture, and transcript down in text file. This is where you load everything up. So here I will show you example. And here, files. And I'm not going to do it again here. I'll show you what I already did with my Perplexity project. So basically what I did is I load up all the lecture slides, all the transcript, my syllabus, and the textbook. Now, once you've done this, you are way ahead of the people who just use general chat. Because now, every time you text and you chat to the bot in this project, it already know about your class. It already know about what you study specifically. And its answer will tell it specifically to those contents. And then I would set up custom instruction for how the bot should use all the content that I loaded up. So for Perplexity, it is gray section. And you click on instruction. And here it is. I just brain dump everything down. This is why I said the bot is not perfect yet. It's because my prompting in here is just basically my brain dump. But you don't need to read it now. I'll show you how to do it in Claude. In Claude project, so you load up your files in here at the file section below. And on top of that, there is the instruction section. And in ChatGPT, this is how you would do it. Here. So you load up the file, and for custom instruction, you click on the 3 dots on top, edit instructions, and you just add everything in. And so basically what I did for my instruction here is step number 1, class notes. Write detailed university level notes from the lecture transcript and slides in the exact order the professor presented them. Use clear headers for each topic, bullet points for all main points, definitions, examples, and explanations. Include every argument, concept, and example exactly as stated. Do not summarize or condense. Reason why I say do not summarize or condense is because previously when I used ChatGPT to study, and back then I only used the general chat, I noticed that it would always oversimplify my class lecture. I didn't know that when I carried that knowledge to the test, I would always not get full mark because I would just oversimplify everything. Next, clearly mark any contents that the professor says is examinable, will be on the test, or emphasized as important. Number 2, examinable versus supplementary. 338. Generate weekly quizzes and flashcards based on the examinable material only. Create exam reminders and study schedule that avoid my work hours because I have a part-time job. And track assignments from the syllabus and help plan review sessions around my availability. 4. Technical depth. Use Bachelor of Art level psychology terminology and formal definitions. Explain concepts with real research and discipline-specific jargon. Provide technical summaries before any analogies. Now, finally, if there's any case that the bot pull online resources instead of class contents to explain the lecture to me, then I would want it to cite studies and organize references for all research mentioned. When using external sources, clearly indicate how they relate to the examinable lecture content. Now that is how I set my bot. Okay, that was step number 2. I know that was a lot, but bear with me because that step is really needed for you to fully utilize the bot. Now on to step number 3. This is the new study method that I was excited and talked to you about in the beginning. And here is how it goes. At the beginning of every study session, I would start with write detailed class notes for this lecture as if you are a student taking thorough in-class notes. Make sure to capture all the details, definition, and arguments. Structure it with clear bullet points and headers for each topic covered in the order of the professor lecture. And it would give me the notes. So just read through, get the full big picture of what is in the lecture, and you can just move on after that. After that, I tell the bot to, okay, I kind of get the gist of each concept, but I can't really clearly put all the concepts into a big picture yet. They're not making sense together to me quite clearly yet. So explain the whole lecture notes to me again in 3 different times. The first time, do it as if you are explaining it to an 8th grader. The second time, do it to a 12th grader. Then finally, the third time, explain it to my level. And the reason why I like to use this prompt is because when the bot explains it to the 8th and grade 12 level, it's really simple. So it's easy, it's faster for me to grasp the big picture. I don't just get brushed in with the most difficulty level and just get overwhelmed. And so this is what I do. And then it tells me here, the 8th grader level. I would read through, get the big picture. Okay, understood. Move on to the 12th grader. Now it's basically explained the same thing as 8th grader, but with a little more details, with a little more technical terms. Okay, so it just familiarized me with the terms. Okay, read through, understood. And then finally, this is where the study sessions begins. Now I read through this whole thing, get the gist of it, from all the built-up knowledge so far from the 2 previous explanations. And at the parts I don't understand, I start chatting away with the bot as if it's my real-time tutor. So I would highlight the question I want to ask. So say, I don't understand this part. So I would ask it, hey, what does this word mean? And hit send, and it would just answer me. And so basically at this point, I would just go back and forth with the bot as if it's a real tutor until I understand everything in class. And this is way better than studying alone because this is like going to your professor office hours, except this tutor available for you 24/7 is super patient. And if I'm ever stuck, I can say I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I don't even know where I got lost, but Nothing makes sense to me at the moment. Please ask me questions to check my understanding so far. Then we can go from there. Hit send. And here, it will start asking me questions to test my understanding from beginning of the class until the part I don't understand. And I could just chat away again and just study. That's how I study. Now, that was step number 3. That was basically the longest step of the whole study session process, right? And then now final step number 4 is I just tell it to sum it up all the understanding I've had so far in my own words and my finished class notes. I've been doing this only for about 3 weeks for my biopsychology, drugs and behavior class, but here's what changed. For the first time, I feel like I actually understand what's going on. I can explain the concepts again in my own words, not from notes. In class, I recognize terms and actually see how they fit together. Finally, I feel like I'm faking it, more like I actually get what's going on. I'm not saying this is perfect yet, or that it works for every class yet, because I've only tested for 3 weeks and for one class. But I want to show you that right now instead of 2 years from now. If you're a Vietnamese or Asian international students in the US or Canada and you want to build your own learning OS around lectures, exams, and weekly planning, I'm taking 5 students for my first 8-week cohort. There's a link in the description to book your free 20-minute learning OS audit. We will look at your real week, your hardest classes, and see if I can help. If I can, I will show you how the program works. If not, you will still walk away with a clearer plan to try on your own.